Good morning. That was actually a really good night at this little train station turned free camping parking lot. Strange situation, but it was actually really quiet last night. There was no sort of gusty wind or anything else to make noise or rock the van. My new socks, we talked about in yesterday's vlog, worked great, super comfortable, didn't bite into the leg or anything like that. Nice and toasty ball. My knees still got cold though, still need those long tracky deck pants. That's the hunt today. But yeah, I actually slept, well, I'm not going to say good because I never sleep good. The way my brain is wired and the fact that I live with chronic pain in my back meant I've never slept good in about 20 years. But that's about as good as I tend to sleep. I got a fairly solid 4.5, 5 hours shut-eye there, all in one step instead of, broken up into little chunks of an hour and a half or 2 hours, like often happens. But yeah, I was very comfortable last night, so if you're passing through whatever the bloody hell this town name is, it's Temora. It's a shire. And you need a place to rest for the night, come to this, whatever the hell place this name is. Temora Railway Station Adaptive Reuse Development. Just heading to the toilet blocks to refresh myself, get my teeth brushed, and we'll make a plan for the day. But yeah, very pleasant night's stay. Comparatively, about as good as you could expect from inside a van. Let me tell you, while we're on the subject, getting changed inside a van full of stuff when you have a bad back and bad knee and you're 47 years old, it's not the delight it seems. Platform Y? Because you asked nicely. Oh, you thought I was going to make a mask reference? No, gotcha. Undercutting expectations, I still have the indicator globe, the broken indicator globe in my pocket for this hoodie, which I haven't worn in 2 days. I should throw that out responsibly. There we go. So, I am autistic, but I am not AUHD, AUD, or ADHD. I'm not the attention one, but sometimes I emulate the symptoms of easily distracted focus thing. I think the problem is I might need food. I had a couple of those brekkie bar things for dinner last night. Well, didn't leave me hungry, but I feel lacking this morning. Let's make food the first priority this morning, unlike the last couple of days where I haven't had breakfast until like 11 or 12. Yeah. Also should note, no issue with condensation last night. I left both the driver's side and passenger door windows cracked just a little bit in the front. And I do have the, I forget what they're called, weather shields? I think they're called weather shields. Those things. I do have those, so it means, weather and bugs are much less likely to get in, and if you're walking past the car, you can't sort of see at a glance that the windows are cracked. I mean, worst case scenario, if someone's determined to get into the car, they're going to come looking close anyway and try and wrench it down, and if they can't wrench it down, they'll break the window or pick the lock. I don't know. So I don't feel that's a huge security concern, aside from letting a little extra noise in and out, I suppose. But not really a problem that I'm worried about, at least not more than mold and mushrooms starting to grow inside the van, because in a small space like this, that'll lead to big health problems real fast, and once that stuff starts to grow, much more difficult to get it to not do that anymore. So prevention better than cure, and I would rather live with some small compromises rather than one that might hospitalize me. Jesus. Can somebody turn down the nuclear reactor in the sky? It's been intense this morning. Bloody hell. Look at that. Just even the iPhone can't deal with it. Just blown out. Now, phone's got a pretty good dynamic range for what it is. Forgot what I was going to talk about. Back in a sec. Right, I remember. Oh, it's going to be one of those days. I don't know what this video is going to be like when it's done, but I don't feel like there's any point in planning it. So I had breakfast, McDonald's. And I know I said a couple of vlogs ago that I was going to cut way back on the amount of, fast food, and particularly fast food chains and stuff that I have, because it's not wisest money spent, really, when it comes to food. It is at least very, very delicious and full of salt and good things that make you go, I feel good about that. But the Shire that I'm in, like, it's not even town, it's a Shire, doesn't have very many options for breakfast. Tell you what though, ham and cheese, little foldy, toasty, snacky thing, whatever they call them. Had one of those this morning. Those were awesome. Those are great. I'm having more of those. It's like $2.50, $2.75 or something. Pretty expensive for how much what it is, but so tasty. Anyway, about an hour and a quarter drive away, southerly. Brain, I promise, if you just engage the language center, connect it directly to the mouth, but filter it through the processing part of the brain at first, so the things that you want to say make sense, I'd be so much appreciative. Can we make that deal? I'll tell you what, you do that for me, and I will get you a sugary snack. I'll get you some lollies later, okay? How about that? Chocolate? You want chocolate? I'll give you some chocolate if you cooperate. Good brain. So, south, about an hour and a quarter drive-ish, about 80 k's, I think. There's a place called Wagga Wagga, or Wagga Wagga, depending on which part of the country you come from. The locals apparently just shorten it to one Wagga. The reason I'm going to Wagga Wagga is it's the closest place with a store called BCF. Boating, Camping, Fishing, it stands for. That's what the store does. It sells all the stuff for those three hobbies / lifestyles, depending on how committed you are to it. So that's my next try for a solar panel USB charger thing I can slap on the dash here and keep some banks and devices charged up just as I cruise. But yeah, BCF, and I'm also going to check out BCF and see if I can find a collapsible fishing rod of some kind, some sort of fishing device that can fold up really small, because I've got no room. But I would like to have a little fishing pole, just if I pull up next to a lake or a river or something, I can just sit at the side there and throw a line in, just for the zen of it. I'm not big on eating wild caught fish, because when I was a kid, but I caught a pike once. Just reasonable pike, not huge for a pike, but the size of a pike you would slice up and put in a frying pan. And pike do make good eating. When we went to gut this pike, it was mostly worms. And I'm not exaggerating. Like, there were more worms than there were flesh. And they're all these little milky white worms squiggling away out of the cuts of the fish we made. And, it put me off. It put me off eating wild caught fish. So, yeah, that's the plan. Wagga Wagga, BCF, maybe a compact fishing pole. Depending on the price. I'm not going to spend luxurious amounts of money on it. Like, I don't know, $30-40 max, I think, for enough stuff to fish. But the solar panel's priority. And thank you. Again, someone dropped a PayPal late yesterday afternoon, very specifically earmarked for the solar stuff. And it was a very generous kind donation. So now I have less qualms, I guess, about spending the kind of money I didn't expect to spend on it. So I can spend a little more and still feel kind of justified about it. So thank you for that. Getting better at reverse biking, this long ass bitch. And there we go, pad barn. Another chance to see if they've got any little dopamine generators inside. But here's where I came, BCF. Good guys over there, the brown goods, that's TVs and fridges and stuff. They're not going to have anything I need. But BCF, first though, pet barn. No dice, They had fish, but nothing else. I'm starting to think maybe pet stores don't actually keep puppies and kittens anymore and send people to proper breeders instead of puppy farms, which is where they usually get them from, which is a good thing. But it does mean no more puppies and kittens on demand in pet stores like I used to rely on sometimes when I needed a little pick-me-up. Oh well. Right then. Solar panels. Let's see what they got. Good grief. How is something as simple as a solar panel, about the right size for the dash of a car, hooked into a USB output and / or a storage battery? Why is that hard to find? I just... so BCF didn't have that. They didn't even have collapsible fishing poles. Not that I saw anyway. I didn't actually ask, because very low priority. But I took a stroll through the fishing area and lots and lots of fishing stuff, but no collapsible fishing poles. I did find something I didn't know existed. An aluminium fish bat. Which I guess makes sense, because there are some fish, or some people, when they fish, they prefer to kill the fish by giving it a big old concussion. Back in my youth, last time I went fishing, the blokes I went fishing with had their own homemade fish bat, otherwise known as a small lump of wood with a bit of a rope around one end to grip onto. It was vaguely bat-shaped. But yeah, nice shiny black aluminium fish bat. How fancy about your fish beating needs do you have to be to buy a fish bat? I want to live that lifestyle. I want to be the boat guy with his own fish bat. A selection of fish bat sizes. 3, small, medium, large, depending on what you're fishing for that day. I also, in the folding chair section, because I'm thinking, well, if I'm going to get something to fish with, I'll probably want something to sit on. So I took a quick squiz at the folding chairs. I'm a bit worried about how much space they take up, because again, I've got so little space back there. But point of the story is, I found the cutest friggin' thing I ever saw, and I didn't know they existed, and it's so adorable. And I'm not really a baby person, but it even made me go, aww. And it was a teeny tiny folding high chair, well, low chair really, but it had the little, the little tray at the front that high chairs have. So you could pop your little one down on the ground, and it's not a high chair, so it's not going to topple over in the wind or something and land on the turf. But yeah, it had a little baby chair with a little tray on it for the meal and everything. It was so cute. The last thing that I went in there to have a look at was a thing called a Jetboil. And it was recommended to me for my meal needs, although not for cooking in. Apparently the Jetboil is designed to be so efficient at boiling water, if you try and actually cook food in there, like macaroni and cheese or something, apparently it just burns the crap out of it unless you constantly whip it around. So it really is just for making boiling water for your coffee, for your instant camp foods, and I guess pot noodles and stuff like that. And it looked really good. Like, it was nice and compact, and 120 seconds boil 800 ml of water or whatever it was. But it was almost $300. You people recommending the Jetboil to me, you didn't tell me it was almost $300. Wonder if it's like really expensive in Australia, or you guys have just taken it for granted because you buy it once. You buy high quality stuff once. You buy low quality stuff several times. We know this, especially when it comes to outdoor stuff that gets knocked around. But yeah, $300 to boil some water for a coffee in the morning? That's not where I'm at. Even if I had that money just to burn, just to set on fire, I would think 8 times about spending it on a Jetboil. I mean, if you're a hiker and you camp wild like all the time, sure, investment. I bet it's a great investment. But I'm not ready to pull that trigger. Right, so Wagga seems like a nice place, actually. It's quite a nice little town, or shire, or whatever it counts as. It's quite pleasant around here. Also, it might be worth looking for a Kmart, Target, Big W, to have another go at getting some warm pants. Because that's the last piece of the puzzle to sleep properly comfortably. My cold knees and shins. Everything else is comfortable at the moment. Just my knees and my shins need taking care of. Because I'm sleeping in a baggy pair of shorts right now. Irony is, the shorts I'm currently wearing to bed were once exactly the type of baggy tracky backs that I want, but I cut the legs off in one summer to have a cozy pair of shorts to wear around the house, and of course the cuffs of the legs were all daggy and raggy anyway. So, okay, it's not the most exciting story, but you know, you guys are telling me you're enjoying just having these videos on as you chill out, like in the morning, getting ready for your day, or in the evening as you wind down. So I think these kind of low stakes stories are exactly what you want, right? All right, let's find out what's next. Still no dice on the comfy sleepy tracky decks, but I did find a collapsible fishing rod. About $50. Even comes a little mini teeny tiny tackle kit with it. Didn't buy it, but now I know exactly where I can get it. It's Big W, and they're not hard to find. So if and when I decide to pull the trigger on that, there we go. It looks kind of cheap and nasty, and for $50 probably is. But who cares? It's a bit of fun, perhaps, maybe. We'll see. What's next? I don't know. That was pleasant. I was just chilling out in the shade of that gazebo back there for like 15 minutes. Just chilling, checking up on messages, stuff like that. YouTube comments. Unfortunately, well, there was a bubbler in the park. It was one of those old-fashioned drinking fountain bubblers, and can't really fill up my water bottles using that. And no public bathrooms either. I'm not desperate for one, but could have taken a leak just to relieve the pressure for in the future, you know, think ahead, take advantage of them while you can, but none here. However, in my resting and looking around on the map some more to see what was in Wagga Wagga, there's a store called Anaconda, which a couple of you in the last video recommended for camping and outdoor supplies. I'd never heard of them before, or if I did, it slipped off the top of my brain because that's not the kind of stuff I've ever really had to shop for before. But yeah, according to the images on the Google Maps for the store, it looks like it should have just the stuff I need. Well, likely could have just the stuff I need. The floor, it looks a lot like that the boats, fishing, camping, whatever it was, store I went to this morning. It looks like that inside, same kind of stuff, but maybe the range is a bit more different. We'll see. Just an expert parking job there. You can walk to the curb from there. That's fantastic. Alrighty, so Anaconda did not have what I needed when it came to the solar panel stuff. In fact, I don't think I saw any solar panels in there. The Anaconda I came to, though, happened to be right next door to something called RTM, Road Tech Marine, or was that the one I went to? Yeah, I think that's the one I went to. There's a few stores in a line here. And they did have some other solar panels that I hadn't seen yet. Some stuff from Signet, which is a brand of mobile phone accessories I trust. But the price versus capacity kind of situation wasn't quite there for what I'm looking for. Again, it's something I really, really want to make life a little bit easier, but it's not crazy high priority, so I'm okay with waiting to find the solution that works properly rather than a halfway thing that I'm spending money on that I shouldn't be. However, no, I can't reach it. I'll show you in B-roll. Anaconda did have more of those Jetboil things, although unlike the last store I went to, who I'm now suspecting has some sort of exclusive arrangement with Jetboil because they had no other alternatives, this store did have two different alternatives to Jetboil. One of which was also not just about half the price normally, doing pretty much exactly the same thing, but also it was on sale. So I took that as a sign. So now, and hopefully I'll show you this later tonight when I'm set up at camp or something. Now I have the ability to quickly boil some water. So I can have my coffee in the morning if I so desire, using this instant coffee sachet packs, or if I want to get fancy, get some sort of camp-friendly coffee brewing rig. I can also have my instant noodles, and all those kinds of foods that you just add hot water and away you go. I did also buy from the from Anaconda one of those, I guess you call them MREs, but the civilian type, some spaghetti and bolognese. I've no idea if it's going to be any good, just adding water to a bunch of dried, dehydrated spaghetti bolognese. And it's not really huge value. It's about $20. I think it was $18 for a single meal, which I guess, if I spent that at McDonald's or something, I'd probably get more bang for my buck. But shelf-stable emergency food supply, it might be a decent idea to have just a few of them on hand for when I can't get to, more convenient or better food options. But yeah, I bought a single pouch of the spaghetti and bolognese one. They had a big variety there of all kinds of different foods and stuff, and some curries and whatever. I chose the spaghetti and bolognese one because that's one of my favorite foods ever. I cook my own, and mine's delicious, and I have standards when it comes to how that tastes. So it might be funny to watch me do a taste test of this tonight, because it might be fucking horrible, or it could be surprisingly good. We'll have to wait and find out. But I have a hot water solution now for cooking and drinking needs. So coffee, tea, and all those kind of just add hot water kind of foods. So that opens up a bunch more options for me going forward. So yeah, glad I found that. And the stove thingy and the fuel and the pouch of food actually came in at something like $100. Pretty good value. So the fuel is only like $10 a little can pop thing, which is cheaper than I expected it to be. But then again, it is just kind of isopropyl under pressure, so it shouldn't have been too expensive. I don't know what I was thinking. For some reason I was thinking it was as consumable, they might be goosing it a bit, but it's not too bad. Depending on how long it lasts. I've got no idea how long it's going to last, so we'll see about that too. Right, next up is a mystery. I'm going to look at the phone. I don't think there's plenty of car parks around me. I'm not taking up room for annoying anybody, so I'm going to take a quick look at the phone and figure out what comes next. Well, I was going to go to a campground and check it out. It seems quite nice. Another free campground, but with some facilities like toilets and stuff. So it looks quite pleasant. Not a lot of shade, so I don't know about how it's going to be sitting in the sun, but otherwise looks quite pleasant in the photos. But I didn't even make it out of the parking lot of the place I was just at, because just a 90-degree turn from the the line of shops where I was, there's another line of shops, and this one has a place called King's, which is a camping outdoor adventure kind of store as well. I've heard of but never been in, so we're going to go check that out and see what they've got solar wise. Maybe today's my lucky day. I got my boiler nice and cheap, so we'll see. So that King store is actually pretty cool. They've got a lot of really good stuff in there. It is all branded Kings. Like, the only thing they sell in there is Kings branded Kings stuff. But the selection in there, if you do enjoy outdoors and camping, adventure and that sort of stuff, pretty good. They did have a big selection of solar panels. None went down to the size or capacity that I needed. Like, there was nothing sized for the dash, and certainly nothing with USB output. Everything was designed for it to go through regulators and stuff. But it was nice to see a big selection there, and the pricing was pretty good too. And I did get something while I was in there. I'm glad I went in there, because they had these stacked up at the door just as you go in. Clearance sale. This is a rechargeable light/fan. It's got a hook, it's got magnets on it. And at $39.95, I would never have bought it. But because they're clearance, though, it was a 2-for-1. For $20 each, for 2 of them, and they can apparently run for, can be used for up to 6 hours continuous use, can be used for 25 hours of continuous use at low speed. Charge time 5 to 6 hours. So, considering how sweaty and uncomfortable I was in the back of the van yesterday afternoon before the sun went down, when I was sitting back there starting to edit the yesterday's vlog, I was really thinking I need some sort of fan, and I was thinking I'm going to go to a computer supply store and get something I'm familiar with, get one of those 120mm case fans or something, because I've used those at my desk you know, when I had a home, as a fan to cool myself off. I know they work well and they're nice and quiet and everything. No idea how loud these are. The demo one was flat, hopefully not too loud, but even still, it's got a light, it's got a fan. I've got 2 of them, potentially up to 12 hours use of them if I use one at a time, from full charge, which is, you know, everything I could want from a fan. So yeah, not bad. I really hope I'm getting to the end of buying stuff though, because I don't know. I think at the end of the week I might add up all the money I spent on gear, support gear, and food and stuff, and see where I'm at there, and then figure out a budget to try and stretch as far as possible. But you know, a lot of the stuff I bought, like the Jetboil thing, or the knockoff Jetboil, you know, that's a buy once thing. So going forward, I should be burning through a lot less of the small amount I've got in reserve to sort of pad me out. But I think the solar panels are the only sort of big ticket item I can think of that I still need, or still high want. Still no luck on the pants though. One of these camping stores, well, not camping store, but one of these stores was a workwear store, and they didn't have anything. And one of the camping stores did have something, but they had what's that big brand for hiking? There was a North Face or something, and it was like $139 for a pair of track pants. I don't know whether they were special super duper thermal insulated ones, or they had batteries in the pockets to warm up your kneecaps, or but I've never spent that much on a single piece of clothing in my life. I mean, no. I'm thinking this is the daggiest pair of track pants, just something to cover my legs and be nice and soft and comfortable to sleep in. That's all I want. Why is that so hard? Anyway, let's see if I can find that campsite I was heading to before I got distracted by Kings. Right, slight change of plans. The campsite that I originally was trying to find, don't think you can get to it by car. That's for hikers only, I think, the one with the facility. So I found another one. I don't think this one has any. There might be toilet facilities up there. I'll have to double check. I didn't see any other facilities as I was driving in. But then again, my eyeballs were still vibrating slightly from the very corrugated gravel road that approaches this place. It's about an hour out of Wagga Wagga, and as soon as I got here, or as soon as I got out of the car, more accurately, and started to have a slight explore, 30 seconds later I'm like, somehow I knew I would regret not getting that fishing gear, because there is a beautiful slow river sitting here. There's kids all along the bank over here having a bit of a fish already. There are lots of people here, like at least 12.5, mostly in camper vans and things, I think. It is beautiful here though. Like we are, oh, I tell you what, the night sky might look good too, because we are so far away from city lights at this point. Try and get some astrophotography done tonight, I think, if I'm got the energy. But oh, this is lush, 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 lush. There's gum trees. I parked up underneath some shade so the car's not going to be too hot. And oh, just absolutely beautiful. I might go back into town tomorrow, get the fishing gear, come back and just spend the day here tomorrow. Just have a decompression day. I don't know. We'll see how the mood strikes. For now though, I'm going to have a explore, see if we can find some toilets, or at least somewhere to fill up my water, because I'm not running out of water yet, but I'm halfway through my my jerry can, and that's the point in time where you start looking to fill it up again. You don't wait till it's empty, you wait till it's half empty. But yeah, this is going to be a great place to try out my new camp stove, or not camp stove, my jet boiler, not really a stove, and my camp food. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. I love it here. It's my favourite spot so far.
Why, mate? When we're trying to untangle it. I want to catch a fish.
There is indeed a single toilet, but it is at least clean and tidy, and not just a hole in the ground. Although there was an enormous native wasp of some kind flying around in there when I went in, which freaked me out for a bit. I'm talking like that big, end to end, just roaring through the air. So I don't think any late night trips to the toilet are in order, but at least it's there. God, I've just noticed I've even got 2 whole bars of 4G signal. Luxury. It's just struck me how funny it is. I spent my youth doing everything I could to avoid places like this. But that was mostly because it was family trips. And I was an undiagnosed autistic kid with, well, coming into my teens, more and more problems with the bipolar thing, because that always raises its head in your mid to late teens. So, and me and my family never got along. So I never liked being trapped with them in the wilderness. It's not camping itself that I hated. Not that I've made a habit of going camping in my life. I went camping with my first serious girlfriend. That was fun. But yeah, aside from that, not really much. But yeah, this is the best of it, I think. Especially if you're a people person and you feel like you can introduce yourself to the groups around and share stories around the campfire. And that's not me though. I won't talk to a single one of these people. Oh, that's a lie. I said hello to the people down by the river. Just, you know, polite nothings. Afternoon. Bit of lovely down this way, isn't it? That kind of thing. Alright. Let's see if we can figure out this knockoff Jetboiler from Campmaster. Main unit. Fuel. Comes with a little standy thing you can clip your standard fuel canisters into to keep them stable. Good idea. Coffee mug. Coffee. Water. Alright, that's all we should need. So, I've never used one of these before, but it seems straightforward enough. Cap comes off that. We probably should keep that cap so we can seal it back up nice and safe later. And onto the bottom, eh? Might have been easy to do this without the feet on it already. There we go. Listening for a pop or a hiss. Oh, there it goes. Ah, that smell. That familiar smell I used to smell when filling up my butane-powered soldering iron. There we go. So we have, okay, that's our adjustment there. And that spring's free. The little handle that keeps the top on becomes a little lockdown handle for the, I guess we'll call that a billy. And I don't have any, oh, it's got measurements on the inside, but let's just do it this way. One coffee's worth of water. Once I know where this comes up on the thing, I'll never need to do it that way again. Okay, so the first mark inside the little filler there. Alright, so I have a piezo ignition system there, so the instructions that came with this weren't very clear. It barely told you how to assemble the thing. So halfway. Lid on top of the oil faster. A little way up. They say a watched pot never boils, but I guess we're putting the test to that. I was going to get out my phone to do a timer to see how long it takes, but the phone's right there. Come on. already getting steamy. Jeez. I can feel the vibrations of the boiling coming through the metal table. Yep, just starting to boil. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Wow, that was very fast. So can we grab it here? Oh, there we go. Cool to the touch. And instantly steamed up my glasses, so I can't see what I'm doing. Now, how hot is that? That's no touchy zone, that one. Got to be careful when we put that back down, in other words. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any sweetener. I normally like a little sweetener in my coffee. And this is Maccas double shot latte. Not the best instant coffee I've ever had, but it frequently went on sale at my local supermarket, so I very frequently bought it. It's not offensive, it's just not the best one. Nescafe makes some nice ones. As nice as instant coffee from a tube can be. Alright. Ooh, it's cooling down quite quickly too. That's good. That's very good. Alright. I have to say I'm impressed with how fast that boiled it. I mean, it was only a cup of water, but yeah, we'll do a slightly larger amount of water later when I do my spaghetti, and we'll do a taste test on that. Tell you what, there's a tent campsite that just set up not far from where my vehicle is, and they started this this campfire. So all I've been smelling for the past couple of hours is this wood smoke, which at once is concerning when you're in the woods, in the bush, but at the same time, you know, campfire smoke, it has that nostalgia attached to it, doesn't it? Ooh, it's still too hot to drink. But yeah, thumbs up on that. And that must have used bugger all fuel too, because that was so fast. Excellent. That is a quality of life change. Just being able to have coffee on demand, or hot food. There's a guy over just to my right there who's got a caravan set up in a adjacent slot. He's got an official Jetboiler branded Jetboiler set up on the back of his caravan. Swears by it. So he's been using it for years and years and years. Never given me any problems. So, I mean, to what I was saying before about the expense of the Jetboiler branded ones, from the reviews I looked at online, they do seem to be made more robust. They're also smaller and lighter than this version is, which is important for if you're hiking with it. I'm not hiking with it, so the size and the weight being like, I don't know, 30% more or something, not really an issue for me. But you know, I just got some, just got some, you know, first-hand user advice that the Jetboilers are worth investing in if you are using them all the time, because they do last and last and last. Old bloke was pretty good about it too. He waited till I was finished, waited till I put the camera down and uncut the camera and started enjoying my coffee off camera. Then he shouted out, "Oh, you're doing some sort of YouTube thing, are you?" And then he came over and we had a chat, which is, I mean, I don't know, he might be a boomer, he might just be a little older than me, sort of late stage Gen X, but having that sort of respect for people just, you know, doing their stupid little video blog thing in the wild here. It doesn't always happen. So it was nice that he was self-aware enough just to not butt in or just be a jerk about it or make me feel silly for doing this in public, because I've never been truly comfortable doing this sort of stuff in public. But, you know, the table I needed was right next to his camp, so that's right to set up. I think the coffee might taste extra good out here. It just might. Wonder what that spaghetti's going to be like. Alrighty, my spaghetti bolognese has been sitting for 12 minutes-ish. Still feels pretty hot in there. Sniff test. It smells like spaghetti bolognese should. It doesn't, I mean, it's literally not spaghetti. These are not spaghetti noodles. Spaghettini. I think I might have added a little too much water. The sauce is a bit watery. So I'll give it a good mix. We'll see if that solves it. I mean, it does smell like a spaghetti bolognese, which is a promising start. Yeah, definitely added too much water. It's too watery in there. These noodles suck. I mean, let's get some of that bolognese. There we go. There's a good bit of sauce with the meat and stuff. Nice chunk of carrot there, tomatoes. I don't see too many obvious herbs. It's actually not bad. It's not nearly as good as homemade, obviously. Why would you expect it to be? It was freeze-dried or whatever. But it's actually far better than I expected it to be. Very, very edible. And what is it? It makes a 675 gram portion. That's more than enough for me. You could probably share that between two people if you had some bread. Go with it. It's not bad. Not bad at all. I give it a thumbs up. I'll come back when I've finished it. I'm not going to eat the whole thing on camera. Feels weird. Don't like eating on camera as it is. But taste test, a taste test. Yeah, not the noodles. The noodles let it down. The sauce is 5 out of 10 compared to a halfway decent homemade. I've actually had worse in restaurants, believe it or not. Once, but still. Also becomes much easier to eat if you do, as the package describes, and tear at the second tear line to create a more bowl-like experience. Had no problem at all finishing off that whole bag. Very, very nice, actually. Got a bit better as you went through the bag because the sauce got less and less watery, I guess, as more and more got absorbed into whatever. Or I was just mixing better by the time I got to the bottom. And certainly when I tore it off to make it a bowl so I could get at the food a little bit easier instead of probing down with the fork. But yeah, at almost 20 bucks a bag, it's not going to be a sustenance thing. I can't afford to be eating these for every meal, or even one meal a day. These are specifically designed, of course, for hikers. You know, energy dense, delicious, you know, hearty, you know, feel good food for when you're on the, you know, out you know, hiking and stuff like that to keep you going. But as something I can make wherever I am, now that I've got the Jetboil thingy, as a once in a while treat, absolutely. Keep it, you know, a few of these just stashed away for an emergency situation when I can't get, you know, decent food otherwise, and just really, really need a big hit of, you know, protein and carbs and energy and whatever else is in these things. And all I need is water. So pleasantly surprised by that. I've, you know, heard horror stories for years from friends who do like to go hiking about various instant meals, and I'm sure some of them are quite terrible. This one, specifically this one, maybe the whole brand is good, but I know at least the spaghetti bolognese, even though it's not spaghetti, it's spaghettini bolognese. Because to be spaghetti bolognese, you have to make it with spaghetti noodles, and those were not spaghetti noodles. It was bolognese, and it was a halfway decent bolognese. Certainly nothing to complain about. Obviously I finished the whole thing, wolfed it down, and I felt quite good. Nummies. Pity I didn't get some chocolate for dessert though, but my brain did not cooperate today. As the agreement this morning, the brain didn't come through, so the brain gets no chocolate. So, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Thank you as always for the support, however it comes. Whether it's just commenting and thumbing, or, you know, literal direct support through the PayPal link or the Patreon, or Super Chats. You guys are really, really making a difference in my ability to get to grips with this. And bloody cockatoos, never shut up. I'm trying to vlog here, guys. I'm screeching. See you in the next one.